Welcome back to the garden. So this weekend has been a super busy weekend in the garden. I've managed to get my block paving edges in and I think it looks absolutely great on a border that I've really struggled with, and it's kind of transformed it, so I'm super happy with that. Managed to get some planting done, also a good tidy. So yesterday was a beautiful day. Today, not so much, but without further ado, let's get into it. So for anyone who doesn't know, this is my rear garden and I want a tropical style garden. This is the border I struggled with all last year. So after November, when my appendix burst, I went ahead and I ordered some blocks off Facebook Marketplace. I got a really good deal on these, and I got some sand and some cement, and I also bought some plants with like Christmas money, and they've just sat waiting for today. I'm using a 3-to-1 mix, so 3 sand to 1 cement mix, and I'm using a dry mix. As you can see, I'm not the best at mixing it, but I kind of just needed to get this project started. And it's absolutely typical that this place I want to start off with, there's actually a big root running through, but the ground isn't particularly level, so I'm quite happy to start it here. And as you can see, I'm actually taking from right to left, I'm actually giving it a nice drop down. Couple of reasons. One is the garden's not level, but the other thing is it's going to help with drainage, get quite a lot of water build up towards the greenhouse here, so it's going to run away from it. And then it will drop off nice and level with the lawn, which means I can run the rest of the border all the way around as level as I can possibly get it. Or should I say level to the eye, or pleasing to the eye. I'm not putting a spirit level on this because for me it doesn't have to be perfect, but obviously you guys, if you're a little bit more inclined like that, you can set up a string line and use the same kind of technique. Now what I am doing is I'm double bricking it, so flat brick and then brick on the edge. This is because this border is actually a raised border, and it's raised up by a good foot or so. So if you love everything gardening with a slight tropical twist, then you're in the right place. So I aim to upload 2 to 3 times a week. I have a tropical style garden here at the rear, and at the front I'm working hard on getting a cottage garden done. So sow my own seeds and all that good stuff. So let's get into today's video. Now it is worth mentioning I'm only double bricking it up until the corner. So as it curves round and drops down from the raised bed more flat with the lawn, then I'll just simply sink that brick away and go into a single brick finish. And as you can see in these clips, my mixing didn't actually get any better, so it's no wonder the old boy who actually taught me how to do this used to be fuming at me, because I probably put as much effort in then as I did today. This is the outer shot, so as you can see from left to right, it's not perfect, but I am quite pleased with how it's starting to look, and you can really tell what this border is going to look like once it's complete. As I'm laying these bricks, I'm starting to think about the plants that I bought, inspired by Kieran's garden, which I actually shared on the channel, which I'll put a link down below to. He used a lot of grasses and heucera in his borders, and they were right on the edge. Now, not saying I've copied him, but I've took a lot of ideas from him, and I'm starting to think about how this is going to look. And this day has been coming for quite a long time for me, with not being able to get out into the garden with my tummy, my burst appendix. And I am taking it steady, guys, so please don't worry about me. I did take a lot of breaks, but I couldn't help but really think about, I've been waiting for this day for ages, and honestly, I couldn't be more pleased with the results. So as I get to the corner, I start to really curve in that corner piece, and I turn my attention to the rows that I planted that is destined for the front garden, which is hopefully, fingers crossed, going to become a beautiful cottage garden. Now this is a clip of my rose in my old house in all of its glory, and I can't wait to try and get it back to this. Thankfully, it transplanted really well, got lots of roots up, managed to get it in the front garden with no real issues. We give it a really good water with Theodora's help, of course, but I'm really excited for this. So what I'm doing here is called a healing in process, and it does exactly what it says on the tin. You use your boot to heel the plant in to make sure you've got full contact with the ground. Quick look at the roses that I planted last summer, and they're actually starting to look really good.
When you have to turn it.
So I've got cameraman Tobias behind the camera there, doing me a solid, to be honest, making sure I'm in frame and talking to me all the time. So they've been knocking around the garden with me for most of the afternoon, and honestly I couldn't ask for better kids. So well behaved. Took the opportunity to go and have a couple hours from the garden, went and got an ice cream, and then it was back to it after that.
Daddy!
So these were the plants that I was discussing before. So this variety is a carex grass, golden variety. I bought 3 of these to spread around the garden, and then I also bought 3 heucera plants. Now the grasses were £7 each from B&Q, and the heucera were actually, I think they were a home base closing down sale, and they cost me £2 each. So worth a bit of a gamble. They didn't look the best, but as long as we can keep the slugs off them, I think they'll be absolutely fine. This plant is a bronze carex. So the carex family is just like a generic name for a grass variety, and they're normally named after like the colours that they have, the golden and the bronze. So this is just simply the bronze variety. But alongside the canna lilies and also the red bananas, I think this is going to be a really cool and interesting plant. So at this point in the afternoon, this is where I set out a few of my other plants. I kind of get a feel for where I want them, and then we go take a break. We go get that ice cream. And with that ice cream, a quick stop to B&Q to pick another couple of bags of sand and cement up. I had about 45 minutes before the sunset, so I quickly got this little bit down single file. Then it was a case of just switching the plants around, figuring out where I wanted them. And honestly, I think it's a really good tip. If you place the plants where you want them and come back to them, don't plant them straight away. Have a look at them, see if you actually like them, if you get a feel for it, and swap them around. Because I actually swapped my carex and heucera, and I know it doesn't seem like a big deal, but once you've planted it, you really don't want to be disturbing it. So I was really happy with that switch. So I placed them out, I come back and decided, no, actually, I want to swap them over. So what I should have done with this grass is actually dunked it in a bucket of water and done the bubble test. So completely submerge it underwater and let it bubble out, because it's a little bit on the dry side. Now, once a plant dries out, it's quite difficult to actually rehydrate it. So I've actually given it a ton of water since I planted it. But looking back, especially now when I can see the root ball, I really should have just bubbled it out in a bucket of water. And me being me, it was only 6:15 at night, but I really wanted to get this little bit finished. So I set my light up and hope for the best. So, as you can tell with the last footage, I worked until it went dark, which is around 6:30, but I got quite a lot done. Managed to get a little bit more planting done than I expected. But today, something a little bit different. I bought a polytunnel last year, and for me it really hasn't worked, and it's became something of a bit of an eyesore in the garden. So I want to show you that, and I'm actually going to try and dismantle it on this windy day and try and put it down into one smaller shed with Lil's help. Lily's been absolutely fantastic for me. She's done a lot of my labouring, she's been carrying my bricks and all that sort of thing, with my tummy still recovering. But let's put a little clip in of hopefully getting this polytunnel down. So while I've done that quick one, you guys have been safe in the playhouse. With the weather really turning, just two more jobs we're going to look at. One, I want to get planted my trachycarpus in my newly shaped bed, and the other one is I want to show you the Washington palms that I bought, because I read different things online and I wanted to give an honest review of what they're really like in the UK, and I'll show you those. And these are my Washington palms. Now, these have had a frost on top of them because I had them in a greenhouse that wasn't protected, but they haven't had the elements, they haven't had the wind, they haven't had the rain. But I mean, just take a look at them. I won't give up on them just yet, but I think we all know where these are going. So if you're thinking about buying a Washington palm, just take a look at this before you do. And if you made it to the end, thank you very much for watching. Please do me a big favour and go and give it a big like and drop a comment down below, as it helps share it out to others who love gardening just like we do. But until next time, we'll see you in the garden. Take care, guys.
I just turned a little bit, that was perfect.
You're up out the way. Honestly.
Well, honestly, you. That's your door. And today's video is Daddy making some plants again.